Hi, everybody. It says I'm streaming, but I don't know if I'm streaming. Um, it says I'm offline. I'm just looking around at stuff, waiting for people to join. Gonna go back to my channel. Get out of that. Live. Hi. All right. It says that I'm live now and I can see myself. Let's just get out of this because that's YouTube. Let's go to this. Let's go to the US economy. Okay. All right. Well, it says stop streaming, so that must mean that I'm streaming. Oh, golly. So I guess I could start all over again. I don't know. It's Friday. Actually, no, it's now become Saturday. I'm Gloria Moraga. Thank you for being here. I'm going to pretend like there are people watching because hopefully people will watch this tomorrow morning on Saturday when they wake up. So I do have my live shot up and I'm going to go back to what I was originally talking about. All right. If we didn't have a war, this would be the lead story. The U.S. economy lost 92,000 jobs in February. The tariffs aren't working. The tariffs never were going to work. Anybody who has read a book about anything knows that tariffs don't work. Not the way the Orange Walrus wanted them to work. And the unemployment rate rose. So not only are businesses laying people off, we're losing people. There's no growth. There's no job growth. And so we segue into why isn't this a lead story? This is why this isn't the lead story, because of the war. And you may wonder, yeah, I am a fiscal conservative, okay? I am a liberal when it comes to almost everything else. But I don't think it's right for the federal government to spend our money, and that we should have a say in how the federal government spends our money. That's just the way I am. I'm stingy. I work hard for my money all my life, and I don't think they should just spend it on anything they damn well please. All right, so it infuriates me. And this infuriates me. How much is the war costing us? I will, yes, there's nothing more important than the money is secondary to lives being lost. The lives being lost are more important. It's more important. But this is not right either. $3.7 billion is the estimated cost of the first 100 hours of this Trump war that ridiculous man in the tight suits calls epic fury. And you go down here into the story a little bit. I know it's real tiny, but I'll just show you that the war is costing us $891 million each day. And now, so let's just round it up because that's an estimate. It's costing us about $1 billion a day. And that's money we really don't have. I mean, we're cutting health care for millions of Americans, working Americans. So I wanted to start with that, even though in a minute I will have more on the economy. Because
The Russians are helping Iran target and attack Americans now.
That's an easy problem compared to what we're doing here. I mean, but can I be honest? It's just, I have a lot of respect for you. You've always been very nice to me. What a stupid question that is to be asking at this time. We're talking about something else. Can we keep this maybe a little bit? Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. My question is for eligibility.
The Russians
here in that sense. They're represented very well. Peter, I'll give you one more chance because that was a bad question you asked before. Go ahead.
We've already got a lot of sound bites
leave him in the
about the
like
sports. Can I ask one off topic?
On topic.
On topic. Okay.
Which is unusual for you. Go ahead.
Thank you. What is motivating you to do this right now? Because there is a lot of other stuff going on in the world.
Right. That's right. There's a lot. We're doing by the way, in Iran, we're doing very well. Somebody said, how would you score it from 0 to 10? I said, I'd give it a 12 to a 15. Their army is gone. They're just about, look, their navy is gone. Their communications are gone. Their leaders are gone. 2 sets of their leaders are gone. They're down to their 3rd set. Their air force is wiped out entirely. Think of it. They have 32 ships. All 32 are at the bottom of the ocean. Other than that, they're doing very well, Coach. Very well. We're doing, our military is doing phenomenally. That's the big thing for this week. We seem to have a new thing every week, but the situation with a very bad and very sick group of leaders who were killing a lot of people. A lot of our people were being killed. They were being maimed. They were being destroyed with their bombs all over the place, planted in roads, and we call them the roadside bombs, walking around without legs, without arms, face blasted, killed many, many people. And we had a choice. We could take it and go on like that for years or do something about it, and we did something about it. And people are very impressed with our military, and they admire our military with what happened in Venezuela and what's happening now, what's happened with the B-2 bombers before this, where they took out the nuclear capability or potential of Iran. I think we're right now we're a country that's more respected than we've ever been respected before. I saw what was happening with college sports, and it doesn't sound very important compared to what's happening in Iran and other places, but it is very important to me. And if I can get it done, I'll get it done.
Not really doing anything. I mean, what's important is, you know, that we have an economy that's struggling and we're spending this much money to do this. Why? So that was Trump. There's one more soundbite I'm going to use from Trump, but first I want to go to
Today marks the 7th consecutive day of this large-scale military aggression, which began on 20. Today marks the 7th consecutive day of this large-scale military aggression, which began on 28 February. The United States and Israeli regime continue their brutal and massive attack against Iran and the Iranian people unabatedly and without pause. These attacks are indiscriminate. They deliberately target civilians and civilian infrastructure across my country. The United States and Israel have demonstrated that they recognize no red line in committing their crimes. Iranian cities are being attacked indiscriminately. Densely populated residential area and critical civilian infrastructure are deliberately targeted. These acts constitute clear war crimes and crime against humanity. Yesterday, the United States Secretary of War openly admitted that the United States is using 500, 1,000 and 2,000 pounds bomb with massive destructive power against Iranian cities. They are dropping 2,000-pound bomb in densely populated civilian areas. Their intention is clear: to terrorize civilians, massacre innocent people, and cause maximum destruction and suffering. Their claims that they have targeted only military objectives is a lie and baseless. The facts on the ground prove otherwise. Despite our repeated communication to the Security Council calling for an immediate halt to this criminal war, the Council has remained silent. It has chosen to turn a blind eye to these grave violations, despite its primary responsibility under the Charter of the United Nations to maintain international peace and security. According to the latest report of the Iranian Red Crescent Society, at least 1,332 civilians, including women and children, have lost their lives so far. Thousands more have been injured, and the number continues to rise.
yeah, that's the bombing of the girls' school, which also had young boys as well. And according to experts, that's as has been documented that we did bomb the girls' school, and he mentioned there later that they're bombing churches, hospitals, schools. We're Israel and the United States, and I don't understand why they can't be more targeted. Why are they just? How did it happen that they bombed the girls' school? And how did it happen that they're bombing a boys' soccer field? So that's that. Now back to Trump, and I'm looking at the television to see Iranian president says there's not much going on. I thought that things were going to get really hot tonight or this early this morning. Back to Trump. He took one more question from.
Today marks the 7th consecutive
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mr. President. Thank you. Could you tell us what went into your decision to replace Secretary Noem with Senator Markwayne Mullin?
Is it possible to stay on this subject just for once? You know, just for once. Boy, oh boy. Anybody have any questions on this subject?
Thank you, Mr. President. What is your timeline for either the executive order that you
Glow on camera. Do you hear me now? Let me see. I'm going to turn it up. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Oh, no sound. Why? Let me see. Glow on camera. Well, I do. I see. Do you hear me now? I hear myself. All right, maybe when I go off myself and yeah, I snorted. And go to another scene in OBS. Oh, good, honey. I'm glad you hear me now. Anyway, back to Kristi Noem's husband. The reason that he stays with her, even though she allegedly cheats on him, is because he's Christian. Because he's a Christian dude and he wants to honor his marriage vows. But apparently she doesn't. So that's the story of Kristi Noem, and I'll put it into it. The other story today is the economy. Yeah, I see when I go off of myself, when I go away, because I didn't put an audio source here. So you don't hear my audio because I don't have audio capture on that. Okay, now I know, and I will fix it. But what I can do, I see when I go off of myself, I can fix this later. But right now, what I want to do is play a soundbite on the economy. So my favorite economist is this dude that's got the Australian accent. And one of my favorite anchors is the morning anchor on MS Now. And she just did a bang up report today on the economy. And he comes on and he talks. So I'm going to figure out how to put my mic on this source. I'm going to put the source in the feed. And then, but I'm going to play the video, and it's kind of long, but you know what? It's really good. It has a Trump dude talking about the economy, that the economy's, oh, we expected this. And then it's like she asks the economist, and he goes, no, they didn't expect this. So here.
I want to say happy Friday, but it's just bad news on top of bad news. Take a listen to what the director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, said on CNBC earlier about this new jobs report.
On average, it's about what we expect to be seeing because immigration has gone down by so much that break-even employment is probably in the sort of 30 or 40,000 jobs a month range. And so, yeah, I think it's consistent with everything else we're seeing, which is that the economy is really strong.
He also pointed to productivity gains, saying it's the highest we've ever seen. Justin, is that how you're reading this report?
Mate, and you know me, I'm an optimistic fella. I can barely crack a smile today, and happy Kevin's over there giving us a giggle. Look, the thing he didn't say, and this, I think we weren't promised this, it's much worse than they said. The US economy has lost jobs since Liberation Day. We're going backwards. The unemployment rate's been drifting up roughly half a percentage point during the Trump administration so far. Anyone who says that this is remotely according to plan is simply lying. They promised us Liberation Day, they promised us economic growth, they promised us an expansion of opportunity, and instead people are finding it harder to find work right now. They're not getting the raises they need, their careers are stalled, kids coming out of college are finding it hard to get work. No. This isn't happy. It's not what's expected. It's not what's promised. It's not something to be happy about. And it's not something to smile about.
And now
sorry if I seem cranky, mate.
We're seeing stocks begin to spiral this week. It continues to tick downward today. If you're nearing retirement, how concerned should you be?
Look, this move in stocks is actually really quite big, and it's quite big. Today, the stock market is moving because of what we learned today about the job market. And so what we learned is that the US economy is either on the precipice of a recession or there's some possibility already in one. Things were much worse than we anticipated even just a day ago. And then if you've got money in the market, the other thing you would have noticed is we started a war with Iran, and that creates all sorts of economic gyrations beyond the geopolitical and the security ones, which means that things are very much at risk. Look, mate, if you saw an economy teetering on the brink, the only advice I'd give the administration is don't do anything rash, don't do anything silly. I have a feeling that advice may have come a week too late.
We have oil prices soaring, Brent crude oil $90 a barrel right now, and Qatar's energy minister told the Financial Times that this could get much worse, reaching $150 a barrel in the coming weeks if tankers can't get through the Strait of Hormuz. Can you put that into some perspective? How significant would that be, and what could that mean for gas prices?
Right. A very simple rule of thumb is that American gas prices rise and fall with the price of oil. So at this point, it looks like oil prices are up about 50%. You should expect gas prices to rise about 50%. Gas at the beginning of this adventure was about $3 a gallon. If oil rises 50%, you should therefore expect gas to be a bit above $4 a gallon. So if you get an opportunity to stop by the president's gas station where he's seeing it at $2 a gallon, definitely fill up, maybe even back a tanker in there and take as much gasoline as you can. But Anna, the thing I want to emphasize beyond how it's going to affect you and me and how much we pay at the pump is war is so much more than just what happens to oil prices. There is a lot on the line here. There's not only young men and women's lives, there's also America's position in the world. There's future defense spending. There's how long we're there. There's an enormous list of unknowns. And the unfortunate thing is the list of things that could go wrong is just a lot longer than the list of things that could go right. I don't know what we're going to draw, which of those lists we're going to come from. I hope and pray it's the things that might go right, but we should prepare as if we're going to get a draw from the list of things that could go wrong.
So that is the economy situation. And let's see, I'm trying to make sure that I have my mic on. All right. Well, this is all like a learning process for me because I'm not I'm learning OBS and it's like a learning process for sure. So the other story that I wanted to talk to you about, so we talked a little bit about Trump on and the war. Yeah, manufacturing jobs are down. I started out with the economy lost 92,000 jobs in February. I could go to that graphic, but you might not hear my mic. I'd have to let's see. Yeah, you hear my mic. Yeah, I started off with this graphic. 92,000 jobs lost in February. Unemployment rate rose. So this is bad. They didn't expect this to happen. And then we got the Trump dude saying, "Oh yeah, we expected this because he said," and that's what really got me. It really like how insulting are they? He said something about because we're getting rid of immigrants or something. He didn't say getting rid of. He just said something about immigrants. But the thing is, when they do these job estimates and stuff, they're non-farming jobs. So so that's like, okay, what are you talking about, dude? So yeah, we expected this because we're rounding up immigrants. Um, no, that doesn't. Well, it could compute, but it doesn't compute. So yeah, and I also started off talking about what the war is costing us, and it's costing us quite a bit. And it's the loss of the planes, but also, I mean, the bombs and the drones cost a fortune, and it's almost the tally is $1 billion, a day. And this source is from the Center for Strategic and International Studies. So it is a think tank. It's not so much a right-wing think tank or a left-wing think tank. So that's that. Um, and Trump just talking about the war, basically.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mr. President. Thank you. Could you tell us what went into your decision?
Here's Trump talking about the war. My mic's not working when I'm on that, but I'll just play the soundbite again for you guys.
Here, in that sense, they're represented very well. Peter, I'll give you one more chance because that was a bad question you asked before. Go ahead.
We've already got a lot of
I don't
sound
want to
bites
leave him in the
about the
lurch like
sports. Can I ask one off topic?
that. On topic,
On topic. Okay.
which is unusual for you. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. What is motivating you to do this right now? Because there is a lot of other stuff going on in the world.
Right, that's right. There's a lot. We're doing by the way, in Iran, we're doing very well. Somebody said, how would you score it from 0 to 10? I said, I'd give it a 12 to a 15. Their army is gone. They're just about, look, their navy is gone. Their communications are gone. Their leaders are gone. 2 sets of their leaders are gone. They're down to their 3rd set. Their air force is wiped out entirely. Think of it. They have 32 ships. All 32 are at the bottom of the ocean. Other than that, they're doing very well, Coach. Very well. We're doing, our military is doing phenomenally. That's the big thing for this week. We seem to have a new thing every week, but the situation with a very bad and very sick group of leaders who were killing a lot of people. A lot of our people were being killed. They were being maimed. They were being destroyed with their bombs all over the place, planted in roads, and we call them the roadside bombs, walking around without legs, without arms, face blasted.
All right, I stopped it because he's talking about, I've run the soundbite already, so hopefully it played okay at the beginning of the live stream. He's talking about, every other wars. I mean, we really weren't at war with Iran. I mean, allegedly we launched this war because they were building nuclear weapons, but they weren't anywhere near that. And then the next one was, I mean, you know, we did it because Israel was going to do it, and so we had to hurry and do it before Israel did it, and on and on. The other story today, and it's uh, just really when we're dealing with thank you, thanks so much, I appreciate you so much for letting me know about the audio. I'm going to click in on this, and then I'm going to turn on a mic so I can talk over it. Hold on. All right, there you go. I this was I first heard Jesse Jackson speak when I was a young reporter, and I got sent to cover him. He was in San Francisco at Union Square, and he was just outside talking, giving a speech about civil rights. And wow, he blew me away. What a speaker. And it just so happens that today, two of our best speakers, two presidents who are our best speakers, Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, sat next to each other at Jesse Jackson's funeral. Joe Biden was there, his wife Hillary was there, and also Kamala Harris sat in the front row with the presidents. And their speeches were just fabulous. And I recorded a lot of speeches, and I'm going to play some later, but I wanted to at least play some of Clinton's and some of Barack Obama's, because Obama talks about how Jackson made him feel like it was possible for Jackson to become president. And Jackson made Obama feel like it was possible for Obama to become president. And then he did. Bill Clinton, you know, was governor in Arkansas, and he became governor and was this, you know, liberal civil rights governor who changed the way people were welcomed into the state house. And he and Hillary used to have these parties, and they would invite poor children and people who at one time weren't allowed anywhere near a white establishments or anywhere near the governor's house, the governor's mansion in Arkansas. And so Bill Clinton talks a little bit about that. So I'm going to play Barack Obama first, because he's just, and you know, I've covered Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton could take a boring economic type speech and just make it fascinating. And he's a great speaker. He's a great communicator, as was Ronald Reagan. Barack Obama is a great orator, somebody who could just talk and just mesmerize you. So here they are. Here's Barack Obama.
He ran for the presidency of the United States of America. I had just graduated from college during that first campaign. And I was living in New York at the time. I was working to pay off my student loans, eating a lot of tuna fish and camel soup. And if I went to a diner, you know, I'd grab some extra crackers, put them in my pocket. And I was inspired by the civil rights movement, and I had in my mind to work for social justice. But even though I was full of good intentions, I was uncertain of how to serve and fighting off self-doubt. And I remember how, at the time, plenty of people, including, I'm sorry, plenty of black folks, were dismissing Jesse's chances, suggesting, oh, he just wants attention, he can only get black votes. But then I remember one night sitting in my janky apartment, and I got an old black and white TV with the rabbit ears, and I'm kind of jiggering around, and it's about this big. I know young people can't imagine, but the TV was about this big. And I'm watching the Democratic primary debate between him and Walter Mondale and Gary Hart. And I remember how when that debate was over, I turned off that TV and I thought the same thing that I know a lot of people thought that night, even if they didn't want to admit it. That in his ideas, in his platform, in his analysis, in his intelligence, in his insight, Jesse hadn't just held his own. He had owned that stage. He wasn't an intruder. He wasn't a pretender. He belonged on that stage. And the message he sent to a 22-year-old child of a single mother with a funny name, an outsider, was that maybe there wasn't any place, any room where we didn't belong. And that message of fairness and dignity, of justice and hope, that's what the Rainbow Coalition was all about. In 1984, and then again in 1988, Jesse didn't just speak to black folks, he spoke to white folks and Latinos and Asian Americans and the first Americans. He spoke to family farmers and environmentalists. He spoke to gay rights activists when nobody was talking to gay rights activists and blue-collar workers. And he gave them the same message, that they mattered, that their voices and their votes counted. He invited them to believe. He invited us to believe in our own power to change America for the better.
Have to tell you, I watched the service today and cried and cried. And you know, I try not to cry about political stuff because I'm a political reporter, you know, and we don't cry. There's no crying in politics. But I wept for the way things used to be, for the hope that we had, and what's happened, that Americans turning against Americans, and I don't know, there's a racism that's you know, kind of is hovering over us, and it's not good. I'm not saying that there hasn't always been racism. There has. It's just that it's more out now, and I think that's bad. But again, Bill Clinton, governor of Arkansas, talks about when he first heard Jesse Jackson speak to a group of school children, and how when Bill Clinton became governor of Arkansas, he changed the way that Black people and people of color were welcomed into the governor's mansion. And he broke ground, and as did Jesse Jackson. So here's Bill Clinton.
This is a celebration and a memorial service. And you have to ask yourself, what did Jesse Jackson do that I admire most, that moved me most? And what can I do right now that would maybe be as good as what he did then? That's what we're all facing here. I love Jackie and her family. Santita sang at my second inauguration. The boys have got to go to Congress, and Yusuf, I thought when the first time I met Yusuf, I thought, I could do whatever I wanted if he worked for me. He'd just take care of things. And you're good at it. It's been an honor to know all of you. But I want to say something, highly personal tonight. I came to truly love Jesse Jackson. And we had more in common than he thought. We were both two guys who were born to single mothers living in the South. And so I got to watch this guy, and frankly, the first time we met was at the 20th anniversary of the celebration of the integration of Little Rock Central High School. And some young people may not even know why that's important. But in the 1920s, that school was voted the most beautiful high school in America. During the whole time I was governor of Arkansas, that one school accounted for 25% of our merit scholars. You could go there and study Latin and Greek, which was a pretty big deal out in the country, in addition to all the science and math. So they were celebrating the 20th anniversary, and Jesse showed up to help them. But he was always asking himself, what can we use the observation of a past victory for to get something done today? So by the late 70s, all these medium-sized little towns in the middle of the country were being flooded with drugs. All these folks were facing more vigorous law enforcement on the coast, but they were coming in. And I kept thinking, I know Jesse Jackson's going to know this, and he's going to say something. And I just want to be there. And I was a 29-year-old attorney general. And Hillary, a Chicago girl, was she was practicing law and supporting us because the salary was almost non-existent. So Jesse gets up in front of this crowd of kids, and their eyes were big as dollars. And he said, you owe a lot to the Little Rock Nine who integrated this school. You owe a lot to Daisy Bates and the other people who supported them. You owe a lot to the people who were there long before them. You cannot take this achievement and throw it away on drugs. And then he said, I'll never forget it. And I thought, where are all the conservatives when you need them to cheer? Jesse Jackson looked at these kids and he said, you have to open your brains, not your veins. And I thought to myself, no matter how long I live and stay in politics, I may never have a single line that's that good. I mean, think about it. It's totally brilliant. It captures personal responsibility and caring and self-survival. All these pastors here who've done such a great job on this, I know you spend endless hours when you're putting your sermons together and you're running your programs in your churches and things, what can we do that will work? And whenever I get discouraged, I think about Jesse and I just laugh. Well, you got to open your brains and not your veins. So 10 years later, I was living in the governor's mansion. And Jesse shows up for the 30th anniversary of the integration of Little Rock Central High School. By then I become governor and we bring all of them back to the governor's mansion because that's where Governor Faubus plotted to disenfranchise them and keep black people out of school. So we had a big dinner that night. And after the dinner was over, Hillary asked Jesse to hang around so we could talk. We went to the kitchen, put some more food on the counter, and talked till midnight. And Hillary said, you know, we all got to work tomorrow. I'm going to bed. 2 hours later, Jesse and I are still going about it. And she walks into the kitchen and throws us out. I'll never forget it. We did not always agree, but I'll tell you one thing.
Thank you. No sound. I had my mic turned down for the echo. But Jesse Jackson died last month at age 84. And that MAGA Mike Johnson denied the family. They had asked if Jesse Jackson could lie in state at the Capitol, and Jackson said no. I'm sorry, MAGA Mike said no. But he was lying in state in many other areas. Thank you. So today we had 3 of our current living presidents honor Jesse Jackson, and it was one hell of a event. Really good. So you can watch it all. And I'm going to put those 2 sound bites up separately. So
Here, in that sense, they represent.
there he is. That's where he was. And yeah, here's what's going on. I wanted to take you to Al Jazeera because they've got some stuff happening. Was just watching some live video of some of the bombings, and both Israel and the United States have said that the bombing is going to intensify this weekend. They didn't say this weekend, but they said beginning now. And so I'm kind of watching it, and it's happening. But this is from an earlier shot earlier today. UNICEF says nearly 200 children have been killed in the Middle East since the conflict began. It hasn't even been a week yet, and we've got 200 children dead. The UN says the U.S. must carry out prompt investigation on strike on Iranian girls' schools. And there was people on the United States side saying that we didn't hit the girls' school, that it was Israel. But then I was listening to Malcolm Nance this morning, and I was going to pull that soundbite, but he basically said it's been documented. It's being documented that the girls' school was hit by a U.S. bomb, but I don't know how he knows that. So that's that. This they're having trouble here with this, and I'll just check BBC before I head off. Just yeah, they're updating live. This is from an earlier. This is an earlier report. So, all right, I'm Gloria Moraga. It says my chat's been disconnected. I'm Gloria Moraga. I've had technical issues throughout this live stream, but I got through it. I hope that you got the gist of these sound bites, and I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm going to try to smooth out some of the technical difficulties with the mic, and know that I'll be watching what's going on in the Middle East, and I will break in and post live video shorts if anything happens. So thanks for being here. Please subscribe. Please like the videos because it helps the algorithm recognize me and push out my content. And I'm trying to at least get, well, I'm kind of lowering my expectations as I struggle with technical difficulties. I'm trying to increase my subscribers to at least get 3,000 by the end of this month, and hopefully more by thank you. Yeah, I got a new computer, but apparently my Wi-Fi in my computer's not picking up my router because my router's in a real odd place. But I will appreciate all of you. I appreciate you watching, and I will be back tomorrow no matter what, come hell or high water. And I am going to post some of these videos, the Jesse Jackson videos for sure. And some of the other videos, I don't think I can use the one on the economy because it's really MS Now's video. But I love that Justin Wolfer dude, the economist, because he really seems to know what he's talking about. But I'll post some of the Trump stuff in shorts. So thanks. Thanks for being here. Political news. Trying to post every day as I work through technical difficulties. But